Hey guys, welcome to Film World. Today I'm going to explain a romance drama film called We Live in Time from 2024. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. As the story begins, Elma starts her day jogging along scenic trails, gathering leaves and spices that reflect her passion for cooking. Back home, she collects eggs and prepares a hearty breakfast, offering a sample to her husband, Tobias, for feedback. Years earlier, Tobias is startled awake one night to find Elma in the bathroom, showing early signs of pregnancy. Confused but caring, he notes her symptoms in a notebook, highlighting his attentiveness. In the present, Elma thrives as a chef, showcasing her culinary talent. However, her routine is disrupted by sharp pain. Tobias accompanies her to the doctor, where they learn she has an inoperable tumor. The treatment plan involves chemo, surgery, and further therapies. The doctor advises Elma to step back from her demanding job. On their way out, she suggests adopting a dog to prepare their daughter for potential loss, but Tobias questions the idea. Elma admits she dreads chemo and prefers quality time with her family over prolonged suffering. Though hesitant about treatment, she remains open to exploring options. Back home, Elma receives news of a cooking competition, sparking renewed hope. Flashing back, Tobias prepares for a job interview as a master data manager at Weybix, eager for growth. Frustrated by a broken pen preventing him from signing divorce papers, he heads out to buy new ones and is hit by a car. In the hospital, he meets Elma, who admits she accidentally hit him. Despite the awkwardness, they connect and share a meal, where Elma reveals her dream of opening a modern European restaurant. She notices Tobias's wedding ring and casually suggests he bring his wife along. Years later, Tobias and Elma dine with their daughter to discuss Elma's health. Before they can explain, a waiter's ill-timed joke triggers Tobias, leading to an emotional outburst that underscores their struggle to balance hope and reality. Tobias plays joyfully with his daughter while Elma watches from afar, her emotions a mix of longing and love. Later, Elma calls for bedtime, but her family resists, leading to a playful chase around the house. Eventually, Elma tucks her daughter in, sharing a heartfelt moment with Tobias, praising him as a great dad. Tobias expresses relief they didn't adopt a puppy, and Elma, in a tender moment, suggests they share a passionate goodbye before her intense treatment begins. They embrace, cherishing their love and imperfections. Elma mentions Simon's idea of auditioning for a culinary competition, but Tobias encourages her to focus on relaxing and preparing for her treatment, assuring her that her ambitions can wait. A flashback shows Tobias and Elma preparing for their child's birth. Tobias caters to her cravings and takes notes on her symptoms. When labor pains intensify, they rush to the hospital but face a blocked car in the parking lot. Tobias maneuvers the situation and gets them to the hospital, only to learn she's just 2 centimeters dilated and sent home. In the present, Elma discusses the BCUS culinary competition with a chef, expressing her desire to represent Great Britain. She invites him to join her team, and despite initial surprise, he agrees to the challenge. Another flashback captures Tobias preparing for Elma's restaurant opening. At the event, a hostess recognizes him and ushers him to a table where he enjoys exquisite appetizers. When Elma greets him, she asks about his wedding ring. Tobias admits he's legally married, but emotionally distant from his wife. This sparks a connection, and they spend the evening bonding, sharing laughter and heartfelt moments. The next morning, Tobias quietly prepares to leave, but Elma stops him, suggesting they spend the day together. They enjoy shopping and strolling through the park, their chemistry growing naturally. Through these intertwined timelines, the story beautifully captures the depth of Tobias and Elma's relationship, from their first meeting to their journey as a family, highlighting love, resilience, and the pursuit of dreams amid life's challenges. Tobias returns to Elma's apartment and opens up about his troubled past with his ex-wife, explaining how their relationship became strained, especially when she moved to Sweden for work. Despite their attempts to save it, she ultimately gave up. Elma shares her own relationship struggles and promises to make Tobias the best scrambled eggs he's ever had, charming him with her cooking tips. Captivated by her, Tobias leans in for a kiss, leading to an intimate moment. When they part later that day, their connection lingers despite the physical distance. Their meetings grow more frequent, and one night, Tobias admits he might be falling for her, despite knowing she doesn't want children. Elma, taken aback, expresses that she doesn't believe in promises of love for the future, suggesting they part ways, leaving Tobias heartbroken. In the present, Elma returns home to a beautiful candlelit display. Tobias greets her warmly, and after their daughter is asleep, brings up a difficult conversation from her diagnosis day. He apologizes for not handling the situation better and gives her a notebook with a heartfelt message. Moved, Elma says they can't waste any more time. Tobias kneels and presents a ring, sealing their commitment. Years earlier, after their parting, Tobias visits Elma again, heartbroken. He surprises her by bringing pizza to her place, only to walk into a baby shower. Apologizing, he confesses his feelings and regrets focusing on an idealized future rather than the present moment. In the present, the family shares a light-hearted moment as Tobias and their daughter cut Elma's hair in the garden, saving the locks as a keepsake. Tobias admires how stunning Elma looks. They then visit a museum to consider it as a wedding venue. But after learning drones are banned, they leave to explore other options. That day, Tobias accompanies Elma to her chemotherapy appointment. The cold, impersonal clinic contrasts with Elma's quiet courage as she faces the treatment, determined to fight despite the uncertainty ahead. A few days later, Elma and Jade meet Simon for the first time. The interaction is cordial, with Simon complimenting Elma's recent achievements and new haircut. Despite Simon's subtle closeness feeling awkward, Elma stays composed. During the meeting, Jade notices Elma's nosebleed. Alarmed, Elma rushes to the bathroom, discovering the bleeding is worse than expected. As she tends to herself, nausea sets in, and she removes her uniform to feel more comfortable. Jade checks on her and nervously asks if she's taking precautions. With a chuckle, Elma reveals she has stage 3 ovarian cancer. Jade, visibly shaken, suggests postponing the competition, but Elma reassures him she's ready. With his help, she puts her uniform back on and positions herself confidently, ready to compete. At home later, Elma reads a congratulatory message from Simon about her performance and the competition's final date. Exhausted, she checks on her sleeping daughter before joining Tobias, who is reviewing wedding invitations. He senses something is wrong but doesn't press when she says she's just tired. Years earlier, during Elma's pregnancy, Tobias tenderly helped her bathe and indulged her cravings. Rewinding further, Tobias and his father visited Elma's lively family, blending into the warmth of shared stories. That night, Reginald, Tobias's father, recalled the moment he knew he wanted to marry his wife, emphasizing that love doesn't need grand gestures, just commitment. At the family gathering, Elma's past resurfaced when they watched an old video of her figure skating. Tobias sensed unresolved emotions, prompting Elma to share her skating journey. She spoke of her father's unwavering support and how she had to leave skating when he fell ill. His absence made returning to the ice unbearable, and she eventually gave it up. Suddenly, Elma experienced sharp abdominal pain, and Tobias rushed her to the hospital. The doctor suspected an infection but recommended further tests. Days later, Elma received a call confirming no infection but advising a hysterectomy. She shared the news with Tobias, who was struck silent. Confronting her early-stage cancer, they faced difficult decisions. Doctors recommended removing her uterus and one ovary, alongside chemotherapy. Elma struggled with the idea of losing her ability to have children but hoped to preserve one ovary. For the first time, she confessed to Tobias that she never pictured herself as a mother. But now, with him, that vision felt clear and comforting. Her honesty brought Tobias to tears as they faced an uncertain future, bound by love and resilience. A few days later, Elma received the life-changing news that she was in remission. To celebrate, she and Tobias planned a day at home followed by a trip to the fair. Their joy was palpable as they enjoyed the attractions, cherishing a moment of hope and happiness. Upon returning home, the couple decided to try for a child. Their journey wasn't easy, with negative results testing their resolve. However, their determination never wavered. After many attempts, they finally received the joyous news they had been longing for. Elma was pregnant. Fast forward, Elma went into labor. On the way to the hospital, they got stuck in traffic, leaving Tobias panicked as Elma struggled with contractions. Desperate to resolve the situation, Tobias checked the traffic ahead, but returned to find Elma missing. He eventually found her calmly leaning against a gas station pillar, trying to manage her cravings despite the pain. Elma's calm demeanor contrasted Tobias's rising anxiety as she browsed the aisles and eventually went to the bathroom, where her contractions intensified. She realized the baby was coming and locked herself inside. Tobias frantically tried to break the door open, enlisting the help of gas station employees. Finally, after several kicks, the door swung open, revealing Elma on the verge of giving birth. With guidance from the doctor over the phone and the help of a kind stranger, Tobias supported Elma through the birth. In a moment of indescribable relief and joy, Tobias held their newborn daughter in his arms for the first time. The gas station employees celebrated alongside them, and an ambulance soon arrived to ensure the family's safety. The elation of that day stood in stark contrast to the present, where the couple faced a grim prognosis. Elma's cancer had metastasized, and surgery was no longer an option. Despite the devastating news, the doctors presented potential treatment options and urged them not to lose hope. Tobias remained steadfast in his support, even as Elma tried to mask her struggles. Determined to carry on, Elma juggled her demanding training sessions with Jade. However, the stress, pressure, and effects of chemotherapy began to take their toll. Jade encouraged her to rest, but Elma was resolute, believing she needed to push forward. Eventually, she agreed to pause, stepping out into the parking lot, where her body gave in to the side effects of her treatment. While Elma continues her relentless training for the cooking competition, her daughter Aya waits in the rain with her teacher, unaware of her mother's absence. Elma returns home feeling a brief escape from her stress, only to be confronted by Tobias, who demands to know where she's been. He reveals that he had called the restaurant, but no one knew her whereabouts. Realizing she forgot to pick up Aya from school, Elma apologizes profusely, but Tobias waits for an explanation. Through tears, Elma confesses that she has been secretly training for the competition Tobias had previously asked her to postpone. Frustrated, he asks how long she's been prioritizing her cooking dreams over her recovery and questions whether the hospital is aware of her overexertion. Elma defends herself, explaining that she knows her chances of recovery are slim and doesn't want to die without achieving her dream. The argument escalates as Tobias struggles to understand why she is risking her health. Elma reveals her deepest fear. She doesn't want Aya to grow up with only memories of her illness. She wants to leave her daughter with a legacy of strength and determination. Her words, though painful, eventually diffuse the tension. Sitting together at the table, Tobias acknowledges her perspective, but reminds her of the importance of sharing her struggles with her family. When Tobias learns the competition date coincides with their planned wedding, he is heartbroken. He steps outside and throws away their wedding invitations, a devastating gesture of his emotional turmoil. Meanwhile, Elma finds solace in running, where she passes a skating rink that brings back cherished memories. On the day of the competition, her loyal friend Jade surprises her with a fresh haircut, mirroring her own as a sign of unwavering support. The duo enters the bustling kitchen, where they work tirelessly for 5.5 hours, crafting dozens of exquisite dishes. With seconds to spare, Elma and Jade finish their final plate, triumphing against all odds. Tobias and Aya cheer her on from the audience, their pride evident. Elma finally feels a sense of accomplishment, savoring the moment. She removes her chef's hat, gives Jade a heartfelt hug, and joins her family. Together, they create lasting memories, skating at the rink she had passed days earlier. The serene and joyful moment marks Elma's farewell to her family. Sometime later, the inevitable occurs. Elma passes away. Tobias and Aya, now accompanied by a dog, work to rebuild their lives. In a tender moment, Tobias teaches Aya how to crack eggs on a flat surface, just as her mother once did, a small but poignant reminder of Elma's enduring presence. To watch more explanations of these kinds of movies, click on the videos on your screen and don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.